Looking back on the PS2 classic, Shadow of the Colossus, in 2020, is like being nostalgic for an era of video games that never was. Originally released in 2005, Shadow of the Colossus got rave reviews for its art style and gameplay. The game was praised for its meditative and circular nature that simply sent you on your horse to discover your next challenge, to defeat one of 16 Colossus that range in size from elephants to 10-story buildings. One of the best aspects of the game is how streamlined its gameplay and storytelling are. Like a movie with an extremely strong concept and purpose, it moves from introducing its setting to getting the main character into action with as little exposition as possible. That is, use the sword to find the Colossus and defeat it in order to bring a mysterious woman back to life using the help of an unexplained power. There's very little in between. No upgrades, no additional weapons, no armor, no other human characters to interact with. It just sets you off on your quest. Each Colossus you encounter can be defeated with the same moveset and weapons. You employ your ingenuity to observe how the Colossus and the environment interact, and you play around to see what might work. So why is this different than modern games? I think it has to do with both the amazing creative team behind Shadow of the Colossus and the drive for modern games to be always online. I played the PS4 version of the game. It looks gorgeous. The world is more vibrant, the draw distance is longer, and your horse gallops with more fluidity than on the PS3 or PS2 versions. With their upgraded textures and hair, the Colossus further inhabit their intended place between the living and the dead. Their robotic eyes light up when they're activated, but their lifelike hair and painful reactions to being stabbed remind you that they seem to suffer. This may be all the story you need. The momentum of the game, the unfinished business, the curiosity for the look of the next monster and how you might defeat it is what thrusts you forward. I can imagine a sequel to Shadow of the Colossus that throws in a lot more of what we expect from a modern game. New weapons and armor, an upgradable skill tree to improve climbing or dodging, collectibles across the map, additional quests from NPCs, or a store that sells potions. The world map could have been crammed with icons like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it could have added hours of grind to the experience. But would it have made the game any better? Would the game have been any more memorable, or its story better told? As a note, I haven't yet played the other games from the studio behind Shadow of the Colossus. Eco, which preceded it on PS2, and The Last Guardian, which was released on PS4 in 2016. From my experience, the game that most closely resembles it was Journey, originally released in 2012 for the PS3. Journey had a few encounters with large monsters, but it didn't have combat, so you stayed on your path toward the single ultimate goal of the game, reach the top of the mountain. Speaking of mountains, the 2016 God of War reboot had a similar goal to reach a destination with a compelling, story-based motivation underlying the quest. Though I thoroughly enjoyed the game, and it contained no microtransactions, I could argue in retrospect that the currencies and the experience grinding bloated what could have been a more compact and satisfying story. It sometimes feels like the only objective of the latest console generation games is to keep you hooked as long as possible and by whatever means necessary. Experience grinding, loot, events, skins, expansions. While these checkboxes can stimulate some neurons, many of these objectives are ultimately forgettable. Even at its initial release, Shadow of the Colossus didn't fit into a particular genre or movement. It was the product of a team that conceived and executed the game without an agenda beyond delivering a challenging, enjoyable, and rewarding experience. Shadow of the Colossus told you a campfire legend and set you out to complete the tale. One of the more satisfying aspects of the game was the sense of completion at its end, and whether on PS2 or PS4, that sense of finality has become a rare and precious sensation.